Salsa, it's this stuff. And there's so many to choose from. How do you know which one's good? You got mild, you got medium, you got spicy. Green Mountain Gringo, that's actually one of the names of one of these. How do you know which one's good? That's why I'm here. I'm gonna taste test each and every one of these salsas, rank them from 1 to 10, and I'm gonna do it with our recent tortilla chip ranking winner, Chicas, or Girls, which garnered a score of a 9. The Chicas with lime ended up getting a 10, but I don't want that to get in the way of my taste testing, so I'll be using this as my agnostic control chip. Let's dance. Salsa. Right? This episode is brought to you by Cook Unity. As someone passionate about home dining, Cook Unity has brought a new solution to my table. Unlike conventional food delivery services, Cook Unity operates as a chef-to-you platform, delivering exceptional restaurant-quality meals directly to your doorstep. They're so good that our crew eats them on shoot days instead of ordering in. Today, I'm trying the white bean korma curry by Chef Emily Peck. Other favorites of mine are the chicken shawarma rice bowl by Chef Chase Evans and the barbecue chicken by Chef Chris Rattel. Real chefs, real flavors, that's what I love about Cook Unity. Upgrade your dining game at cookunity.com/Babish50 or click the link below. Using my code Babish50 supports this channel and also gets you an exclusive 50% off your first order. So we recently did the tortilla chip episode blind, and we're not doing this blind and have very good reason. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. It's harder. So I'm not going to. Irregardless, let's get started with like the most standard salsa on the planet. Okay, that's why they want it. That's actually the reason they want me to open the jars. They want me to open all the jars. And I didn't think I was gonna be a problem. The first one, my hand slid across it like a f***ing ice skating rink. Oh no. Come on, it's Tostitos. Everybody, every day, every minute, somebody's doing exactly this. And they can get it open, but me? That's on there. Give me one of them rubber gloves in the box there. Let me see what happens. Uh-oh. Looks like somebody just replaced all those stupid can jangler, what do they call it? Can jammers? The can opener things. So, it's like a jewelry or something. Okay, so I'm leaving these gloves on the whole episode. Why picking it up makes it so much funnier to me. Okay, Tostitos, chunky salsa, medium. All right, maybe I should. We'll get used to it. We'll stop laughing at it, but then are we gonna be like...
one with you just eating.
Yeah, you know, at least the first one. That's fair. And we'll just see how it goes. We'll just take it one chip at a time, you know? It tastes like very normal salsa. That's precisely what I expected. It is indeed chunky, they got me there. Flavor is solid, if a bit one note. Pretty much just acidic, tomato forward. You get onions, you get garlic, the peppers. You know, so it's exactly what you're imagining when you picture a jarred salsa. This is it. Nothing special about it. Nothing too mediocre either. It's just good. So I think that's a 6. I think it's a 6. I will say, all right, I'm gonna take this one off. No, I'm gonna take them off. What? I want to see if I can open it. We're gonna waste a lot of gloves this way. This way we can use a lot of gloves. See, I did effortless. That took no work. Really glad I didn't waste a glove on that. Pace. That's a commercial, right? There's a commercial where a Southern man, Pace. I remember a commercial when I was a kid. There was like a city slicker sitting around the fire with the cowboys.
New York City.
Wait, yeah. New York City. The
New York City.
fella brought salsa from New York City.
New York City.
Jake, it's time you switch brands.
Pace, chunky, medium salsa. More of a crush texture. It's not like a thick liquid with chunks in it. It's chunks and a lot of like roughly pureed stuff, probably tomato and onion. There's an off flavor in there. It's very, very mild, but there's some kind of preservative messing with me. What's in here? I don't know, something tastes off. Some taste a little off, a little cleaning solution or something. Not as crazy about it. It's still not bad. I would still totally eat it. I almost kind of prefer the texture. I like that there's like goo, but the flavor's not as good. So I think the flavor's bad enough where I have to dock it down from a 6 to a 5. I think it's still perfectly serviceable salsa. New York City. That's what happens when you get your salsa from Paris, Texas. Campbell's Soup Company. Stick to soup. Now we have paste restaurant style. Oh. I guess in restaurants, things are very watery. At least in New York City restaurants. Very, very watery. Hard to get too many discernible chunks. Interesting. I think I like the flavor better. I don't know if it's because they pureed it more or if there's different ingredients or what, but like a stronger garlic flavor, I think I like it better. I don't like the texture though. It's so freaking watery that's hard to dip in. That is an issue that you tend to have in restaurants, so it's at least accurate. It's too watery. I'm gonna give it a 5. Flavor's better, texture's worse. Chi-Chi's, another extremely popular brand of very easy to open salsa. Oh, how violently thick. Very, very thick salsa. Keeps its shape. I like that one. I don't know if I can discern a difference between that and the Tostitos one. It's thick as f, and that kind of feels like, well, what they were going for. Thick and chunky, that's what it is. Lives up to the name. Solid flavor, I'm gonna give it a 6. Very craveable, edible, snackable. Those are the big 3. All right, let's see what happens when Chi-Chi's goes out for dinner with their restaurant style. Mild salsa. Almost the same texture. It has a waterier base, but it's really, really chunky. It's not like watery all around like the paste one. I wonder if it's gonna be different flavor-wise. Very different flavor-wise. More lime, I think. Not cleaning supplies, but it tastes like fake lime. It tastes like imitation lime extract that they harvest from beaver glands or something. I'm gonna give it a 4. It's got a strange flavor to it. Herdez, con toda confianza es. Herdez. Well said. Nico's not here, so we'll never know what that means. Herdez roasted salsa roja. If it's called salsa roja, I'm assuming that's gonna have a pretty pureed, kind of thin texture, not too chunky. Yeah, that's, when you get salsa roja, that's usually what you end up with. There's little char marks in there. That looks nice. Oh, no, thank you. The tomato aspect of this tastes like Tombstone pizza sauce. Mexico's authentic #1 salsa brand. I don't know, man. That tastes crazy processed and just not real to me. I don't like it at all. I'm gonna give it a 3. I don't like Herdez. All right, what's next? About a little TJ's, little Trader Joe's. Salsa Authentica, which means authentic, pretty sure. Okay, this is interesting. This seems to be a really bare bones salsa. Tomato puree, yellow chili pepper, salt, distilled vinegar, dehydrated onion, garlic powder. That's it. That's wild because it only has garlic powder in it. It doesn't have fresh garlic, but that tastes like fresh garlic. And not even in a very good way, like in a abrasive kind of way. It's garlic forward. That's the first flavor that I get. Pretty spicy. That has some heat to it. Like, I feel the heat right now. But that being said, it's very simple and very honest. I'm gonna give it a 6. I like it. Now, I don't know why, because I've not shopped around and tried all the salsas, not till this hallowed day. But when I go and get salsa, this is the one I get. Mostly because I like it when strangers call me Gringo. Green Mountain Gringo, which feels weird to say, it does. But it's made with pasilla and jalapeno peppers, all natural medium salsa. Okay, it looks chunky and laden with herbs and all kinds of shit. Okay. It's very cumin forward. I didn't realize that until now, comparing it to other salsas. The flavor is well-rounded, complex, and it's sweeter than I don't need to eat anymore. I know what it tastes like. The flavor's still in my mouth. So it's craveable, clearly, but a little heavy on the cumin. I would give it a 7 if the cumin weren't going so hard. I would give it a 7. I'm gonna give it a 6. Too much cumin. Wegmans Medium Salsa. It's funny to know that you've eaten something many times, but have no knowledge of it. Like, I know I've had this a lot.
I was just thinking that too, but I may have had all these sauces. I've had this experience as well over my life.
I'd love to know how many times I've eaten this. Maybe 100 without even knowing it. That's just from being in Rochester and having parents that like to save a little bit of money by getting a high quality in-store brand. Very plain Jane, very one note, and it's not spicy. That's another thing. Not spicy at all. No heat whatsoever. I might be numbed out from Trader Joe's 2 salsas ago, but I'm not getting any heat from that, so that's not great. All that to be said, nothing bad about it. It's just very boring. More boring than Tostitos normal medium? Maybe, but at the same time, it's like, I'd eat this. I'd sit here eating this. I'd continue to eat this. I'm gonna give it a 6. Okay, here we go. This is interesting. Xochitl. The very same company that makes one of my lesser favorite tortilla chips. Great tortilla chip for snacking, terrible for everything else. One of the most delicate chips ever designed. Steve? Oh, this one's gripped too. It's got like, grippy ribs. Oh, sorry, Steve. Oh no. It's a perfect conspiracy. They had to make a chunkless salsa so that their chips could survive. Come on, guys. Salsa doesn't have to be chunky, okay? Salsa, you know what salsa means in Spanish? Anybody?
No.
Sauce. Salsa can be kind of whatever you want to some extent. However, this is hilarious. No matter how hard I try, I can't get more than about a 1/4 teaspoon on this chip. They so obviously designed this for their chips. It's hilarious. Damn it. It's delicious. But the texture's stupid. It's too thin. It's a lovely flavor. This would be great for cooking because it's so thin, creating a fantastically unique and delicious flavor. Great with chips, steaks, fish, soups, pasta, wild game. Wild game?
Put it in a soup?
Put it in a soup? What kind of salsa are you making where like, put it in a soup? Have I given anything a 7 yet?
No.
I'm not gonna start here. And that's the only reason I'm not giving it a 7, genuinely. I'm gonna give it a 6, because it's not that good where you, like, holy shit, I'm getting this the next time I make soup or wild game. Good and Gather, the Targettian brand. Very, very fine chunks, very small chunks. That's interesting, we haven't had one like that yet. Because look how finely chopped everything is. It is chunky, but the chunks are tiny, minuscule. Cumin is the headline of the newspaper. I don't know how I feel about the little chunks. It's like a mealy texture instead of a chunky texture. It's like almost as though you've pre-chewed it a little bit or something. It's mealy. It tastes fine. It's just not, I'm not crazy about the texture and the cumin's a little too hard. I'm gonna give it a 5. That's just fine. Okay, Target's chunky brand, non-restaurantian. Okay, so it's definitely bigger chunks, but it's also a much thicker liquid. It hits you with a strange flavor for like half a second, and then it goes away and it's just normal salsa. I'm not crazy about whatever's going on there. I'm gonna give it a 4. Something ain't right. All right, now we got Trader Joe's chunky salsa. This seems to be a much more, oh my God. Oh, sorry, Steve. This seems to be a much more sort of prototypical jarred salsa versus the other one, which seems to be more of like an authentic salsa Roja. Let's see what we got here. Too much oregano, not enough stuff like cumin for it to read as Mexican. It's almost coming off like pizza sauce, like a little bit, like chunky pizza sauce. Even though it's got green bell peppers in it. Is my palate f***ed? Jalapeno peppers? You could have fooled me. I'm like running out of juice for that, for that catchphrase. I think it might be dead. Yeah, no, this is in spite of having more stuff in it and texture, it's worse than their like salsa Roja. I'm gonna give it a 4, because every time I eat it, I'm not like, okay. I'm like, what? That's a 4. We got Wegmans organic garlic cilantro salsa. Something I'm probably gonna love. Because I got this tattoo growing out of my armpit for a reason. I don't taste any cilantro in that. To be fair, when you cook cilantro, particularly when you dry it, it deactivates some enzyme and it makes it a lot less objectionable to those of us with the DNA thing where cilantro tastes like soap. So I don't taste cilantro in this at all. It's really one note, and I'm not crazy about that note. It's a little flat, the note, to continue the music metaphor. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this. I'm gonna give this a 4. It's not even boring so much as this just something plain. It all tastes like bottled spices. Maybe that's the issue. It tastes like dried bottled spices. I'm just not crazy about it. So yeah, 4. Next up, I have not heard of Fody. Oh, you guys know what that means. It's the fridge round. Woo, okay. Oh, that's fantastic. What am I looking at here? 365, fire roasted Cantina style salsa. Fresh salsa, so much different than jarred salsa. Mostly, it's that to jar salsa, you need to superheat it, basically. To jar anything, you need to boil it, pretty much. That's what seals it in the jar. But especially with acidic stuff like tomatoes, you gotta really boil the hell out of it. And what does that do? It cooks it a lot. So you end up with really heavily cooked tomatoes. And what these taste like are fresh tomatoes. That's probably what they are. It tastes like a very good homemade salsa, very balanced flavors. I'm getting garlic, I'm getting onion, I'm getting spices, I'm getting herbs. It's fucking good. Maybe it is better than jarred salsa, I don't know. So this is gonna be my first 7. This is quite good. Wegmans salsa, medium. Also, if any of these seals break and I have to peel it more than once, automatic 0. A lot of cilantro. Not my favorite, cannot hold that against it. That's my deficiency. It's my cross to bear. All that to be said, the salsa underneath is not medium, not spicy, and it's oddly sweet. 1 gram added sugar. This gotta be the first added sugar that I've seen thus far, and it tastes it, it's sweet. The flavor is relatively one note, not getting nearly as much like punch of garlic, onion as in the last one. No spices whatsoever. I'm gonna give it a 4. It's too sweet. Not spicy. Okay, now we got Jalapa jar. Well, yeah, especially because it's like you're meant to pronounce this Jalapa. You're meant to pronounce this jar, and there's 2 J's back to back, and it's confusing. Don't do that to me. Uh-oh, this says used by, and it's blank. It's blank, except for the huge label on the lid. Okay, this stuff is made in the fiery Mexican town of Brooklyn, Flushing Ave. It's in Navy Yard, across the street from Wegmans, direct Wegmans competitor by proxy.
Correct.
Thank you. It says right on their website, direct Wegmans competitor. I don't know why this is so brown or like, muddy color when it's filled with tomatoes and roasted red peppers. But all that to be said, it tastes quite good. It's well balanced. There is a little heat there. Got a little bit, it's medium. It's hitting the medium mark. Oh no. On the back it says enjoy on, and there's pictures for all these things, tacos and chips. Try as a sauce for pizza and spaghetti. I fucking dare you. Use as a marinade or party aid. I don't know what to do with this. It looks bad, tastes pretty good, texture's okay. I'll give it a 6, I like it. I do like it. Okay, a brand that has been getting lit up on the internet for years now, ever since Eddie Burback started the Margaritaville smear campaign. No, it's just, I recently saw another video on YouTube where somebody went on the Margaritaville cruise, and it just seems like this is a hilarious thing to point out, to wag our finger at when we want to look at something and be like, look at that trash. Pretty judgmental, if you ask me. Anyway, let's get back to judging things. Oh, lucky Jimmy. Jimmy Buffett. Margaritaville. This is a violently red salsa. I would say almost too red. Now that's sweet. That's sweet. Still only 1 gram added sugar, just like the last one. There's 15 servings in this, which means that there's 15 grams of sugar in this tub. No wonder it's so freaking sweet. It doesn't even taste acidic. Like it doesn't, it's tomatoes and vinegar. There should be acid to this. It's so sweet, it's gross. I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm not even doing that to be cool and popular. It's bad, it's really bad. Okay, Herdez, the previous recipient of my previously lowest score until that Margaritaville came along. Whoa, is it just me or does that look like a whole bunch of vegetables floating in water? This tastes extremely fresh, like I just made it in a food processor. And that's awesome, that's really cool. You can taste the char, you can taste the tomatillos. That's real good. Almost tastes like pico in that way. I'll give that a 7. It's different, and it's interesting, and it's good. Fridge round's almost over, folks. Amazon Kitchen, the Bezos special. I'm supposed to go out for dinner after this. I'm gonna die. Weird flavor, weird. This is gonna sound insane, but I taste cedar, like wood. Normalizes after the second bite, but it's still strange. It's spicy enough. It doesn't taste like salsa to me. It tastes like something different. I don't know what. It doesn't taste fresh either. If this were room temperature, it came out of a jar, you couldn't have fooled me. That's what it should be. If you could have fooled me, it should be big and goofy, and then you couldn't have fooled me. But this tastes like a jarred salsa. So presumably this is gonna be more expensive than jarred salsa, and you'd be wasting your money because this tastes like a jarred salsa that tastes a little funny. Therefore, I'm going to give it a 4. Mostly because I just said therefore. There, 4. Frontera. This is a familiar brand and name, but I don't know from what. Okay, it does look very fire roasted. That's real good. That's real good. Distinct roasted flavors, carbonized, charred stuff. You can see it too, you can see little bits. The tomatoes are delicious. Roasted onions, fire roasted, but they roasted everything. Roasted garlic, roasted peppers, roasted tomato, they roasted every aspect of it. It's not double roasted, it's quadruple roasted. Texture's solid, you know, the liquid is thick and there's good chunks. There's very little I don't like about this. It's not spicy enough, I will say that. It's medium, not spicy whatsoever, but it is going to garner my first 8 of the day. I like this. 365, okay, let's see what 365 does in a jarred capacity. Pretty thin, chunks are small. I think on the whole, restaurant style means a thinner, more finely processed salsa. That's the vibe I'm getting. That tastes good. Nothing super special about it, but it tastes very natural. I'm not as big of a fan of restaurant style salsa, I guess. I'm not crazy about how thin this is, but that's the style it is. I'm not gonna knock it for that. It's good, I'm gonna give it a 7. They got twin 7s for inside and outside the fridge. Good for them. Back from the tortilla chip tasting episode. Siete, mild salsa roja, Cesara style. So a very specific style of salsa, sounds like. Steve, it's your lucky day. Yeah. Steve's been waiting for me to put on these gloves. Steve knows when the glove comes on, everything else comes off. Ooh, Siete. Siete, this is the most annoying jar style on the planet. It's wide and it's short. So it's harder to get a grip on the lid and you've got less to hang on to down here. Normally you got a whole jar to hang on to with all your fingers. But this one, it's not tall enough to grip properly. It's not my fault. Oh, shit, okay, double glove time. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. I got it started for me. Was this me last night after my second joint? Because it's too roasted. Inspired by memories of our grandma. And our mom. Using minimal ingredients to make the best salsas. Why can't you be made by Monsanto so I can be like, it's stupid. Instead, it's some little mom and pop company. It's roasty, getting in almost edging in on bitter. That being said, it does taste very natural. It's too bitter. I'm sorry, Grandma. I don't like the way it tastes. I just don't. It's not for me. I'm gonna give it a 4. I don't like it. I don't like the way it tastes. And that's like mostly what food's all about. Okay, here's an interesting one. Cholula, creators of one of my more favorite basic hot sauces. Smells good. They must use some of the same chilies that they use in their hot sauce because it's reminiscent of hot sauce almost. Fresh tomatoes, arbol peppers, and Cholula signature spices. So it's the spices that they put in their hot sauce, and it works. It works. I'm not super crazy about the texture. This is what I guess restaurant style is. The flavor's really good though. I like it. I do. Enough to give it a 7? Yes, I'm gonna give it a 7. I like the Cholula Salsa, mostly because of the cap. Loving this cap. All right, Siete, you got one last chance. Can you pull your salsa nuts out of the fire with spicy? This looks different, does it? I don't know. Whoa, okay. Whew, properly spicy. Wow, hang on a sec. That's the mild. Looks relatively similar. This one's a little redder. The first flavor that hits me when I eat it is habanero, which is a great flavor in this kind of salsa because it's fruity and bright. And this was kind of bitter in one note. Yeah, not crazy about that. But then when it becomes the base of this really spicy habanero-laden salsa, I'm not even doing this to be nice. That works way better. That works way better. That's good. I'm gonna give that a spit into it. I'm gonna give you a 7. Seriously, that is a phoenix from the ashes story that we just witnessed here. Well, the last one I give it a 3? 4? Deserved worse. Mateo's, not responsible for obsession. Careful. Also, ew. There's drips on this. It's open. I don't want to eat this.
Wait, it's open?
Yeah.
It's open.
Well, I don't think I want to roll the dice on this. That's why that's there, is to let you know, hey, don't eat this. This is popped and you didn't pop it, don't eat this. What if it was the best? Seriously, what if every comment is like, Mateo's is the best. It's the cosmic crisp apple of salsa. Fody coming in with the sensitive option for those who cannot or will not have any garlic or onions. What do we got? Very relatively smooth salsa, pretty thick though. And through no fault of its own, it tastes quite natural, but really, really plain. Salsa really needs onions and garlic. That's a shame. I'm really lucky. I'm grateful every day that I don't need to avoid onions and garlic because that seems like it would be a nightmare. As a salsa, this is extremely boring, but it's not bad or gross. It's just so boring. And they're fighting with one hand tied, but 2 hands tied behind their back. So it tastes very natural. It doesn't have any unpleasant flavors. I'll give it a 5. Seems fair. Herdez Salsa Cesara hot in a can. This, I have to imagine, is like an upgraded Rotel. It's glassy, it's so shiny. See how shiny that is? Why is it so glassy, shiny smooth? Wow, you could have told me that was Fody, honestly. I'm serious, like no heat. It says hot right there, right? Hot. 0 heat, 0 Scovilles. Got no tingles whatsoever. And it mostly just tastes like canned tomatoes. It just tastes like normal tomato. It doesn't, I can taste garlic a little bit and onion in there, but they're really passive. They're really not quite there. Seems more like an ingredient, and perhaps it is. Maybe that's why it's in a can. Either way, it's getting a 4 because it's not offensive in any way. It's just criminally boring. Okay, next up, we tried 365's restaurant style. Time to try their thick and or chunky plops like a thick and chunky. I think that's a dead ringer for the Tostitos with a very one note, just sort of prototypical salsa flavor. I'm gonna give that a 5. That's very, very normy. The Xochitl Redemption, question mark? Because now we have their stone ground chunky style salsa. The last one was Chipotle. Up. Oh, why do I feel like I'm gonna poop my pants or something? You said don't resist it?
I was talking about the glove, but it sounded like I was talking about pooping your pants.
You said it with immediacy after. Oh, jeez. It feels like panicked. Like there's pain when you're trying to open a jar. There's pain. There's worry. Like I feel anxiety. Like this palpable anxiety. Okay. All right. Don't resist it. Don't resist the diarrhea. Oh, God. Come on, sword and stone. I am a kid in King Arthur's court. Okay. Whew. That got hairy, but I fucking thored that shit. There we go. I'm relitting it because that looks like a watery ass salsa. Oh my God, dude. You shouldn't. You shouldn't have. Not what you want to hear when you're pouring out your salsa.
This is the thickest.
Supposedly chunky style. It again has been designed with their chips in mind because it has chunks in it, and I'm gonna find one. I'm gonna get it. There it is. Again, very tasty, very good flavor. Better consistency than their other salsa, question mark? Because there's chunks in it? I like the way it tastes, but it's very, very disappointingly viscous. What'd I give the last one?
6.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me see if the flavor is better in this one, then by proxy, okay. Nope. That tastes better. That tastes way better. It still has the same viscosity, but it has chunks in it. So it's a mild improvement with a worse flavor. So I'm going to give it a worse score. I'm going to give it a 5. Next up, Frontera's back. Really good flavor. Again, very thin, very good flavor. I really like how heavily roasted the last one was. This one has less roasty flavors and more just sort of natural tomato flavor. I think it's a lateral move, not up or down, which I gave the other one a, 8? This one has a very different, but still good flavor, but a worse texture, I think. So I'm gonna knock it down to a 6. It's too thin, I think, personally. Last salsa of the day. It's a double down fridge round. Here we go, folks. You know the rules. Double down fridge round means we're doing some more from the fridge. La Mexicana, made with fresh tomatoes. I would hope so. That looks aggressively fresh. Tastes and behaves like pico de gallo, not like salsa. And it tastes too fresh. Too many times have I thought that I was very good at cooking and I wasn't. And I think this is this is what a salsa that I would make would have tasted like. Super fresh tomatoes, everything picked just today. But it ends up tasting like a garden. Like that's what I'm getting here. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it personally, but I know it's not objectively bad. So I'm gonna give it a 6 because it's just not my style. Okay, then we have Amazon, Amazon's fire roasted tomato and garlic salsa. Hot. Definitely looks fire roasted. A lot of fire roasted specks in there. It was the same deal with the last one, right? Where I was like, what food is this? This doesn't taste like salsa. Not to make a tech joke at the expense of a tech billionaire, but this salsa tastes like it was made by AI. Tomato flavors just lost. You got roasty flavors, but then, I don't know, there's some weird nonsense happening here. I don't know what it is, but it's bugging me, and I don't like it, so I'm gonna give this a, what did I give the other one? 4? Lateral move. This also tastes alien and strange and not very good. So I'll give this a 4 as well. This is the last of the fridge round. Double down fridge round. Oh, Jesus. That's freaking pico de gallo. That is not salsa. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's anti-consumer. Look at this. It doesn't want me to eat it. There's no liquids. It's pico. It's not. But it tastes pretty good. It does. The tomatoes don't taste super aggressive garden fresh like La Mexicana. They almost taste not canned, but like pickled or something. Like they have acid to them, and they're soft. They're broken down. They're not like super crisp and fresh in spite of the way they look. I thought I was gonna hate this when I looked at it, but it tastes pretty good. But I don't like that there's no liquid whatsoever. That is just minced vegetables in a tub. I'm surprised by how good the flavor is. I don't like the consistency or the appearance of it whatsoever because it looks like it's just pico. I'm gonna give it a 5. It barely qualifies as a salsa, but it tastes good. So I think that's a 5. All right, no more fridge rounds left, folks. Last up, Muir Glen Organic Mild Salsa. I guess we couldn't get medium. I won't hold that against it. Muir Glen is the maker of some really good, some really good canned tomatoes. Fitting for the last jar, is it not? Okay. All right, single glove. That means, you all know what that means. Whatever that graphic says. All right, last one, Muir Glen Mild. What you doing for me? Solid, well-rounded flavor, if a little boring. Feels to me like a slightly sweeter Tostitos, which isn't the end of the world, but also I don't think it improves it at all. So I think we have ourselves a lateral 6. Well, there you have it, folks. No 10s, not even a 9 to speak of. What did we learn? Apparently, I hate salsa. Maybe I was holding it to too high a standard. Maybe you can just bump everything up a point. My top scorer was Frontera. Then the rest that you see in front of you are 7s. These two fridge entrees, we have Herdez, the only entry of theirs that I liked. Unfortunately, their jarred stuff I wasn't crazy about. 365 came in pretty reliably strong across the board, jarred and fridged. Cholula was the most unexpected salsa because it's bordering in on hot sauce territory, which is interesting. Siete, the mild version of the salsa, only got a 4 because it tasted too burnt and acrid, but those flavors started to play really nice once you brought in fruity heat from habaneros. So definitely the biggest divide and biggest improvement. What salsas did I miss? What are your favorite salsas? What do you want to see me rank next here on the BCU? And thank you for watching. Thanks again to Cook Unity for sponsoring this episode. With dishes meticulously crafted by esteemed chefs like Food Network veterans to James Beard Award recipients, it feels as though you have the masters personally catering to your mealtime with a flexible schedule. With Cook Unity, you can set your preferences to call out what you like and don't like, then pick a plan and get menus tailored to your taste 2 weeks in advance. And with chef quality in mind, their meals arrive fresh, not frozen, with chef's instructions and nutrition details attached. Go to cookunity.com/babish50 or click the link in the description and use my code Babish50 to get 50% off your first order of Cook Unity meals to try them out for yourself.